What's good, ladies and gentlemen, man? Apologies for the technical issues, but until the boys get ready to go live at 12, you got your boy Earl of Pearl. We're doing live fan reaction for the next 20 minutes. Next on the Ultimate 216 show. What's good, everybody? Man, it's your boy Earl of Pearl. Decided to come up to the office, do a live Ultimate 216 show. The panel was heading home, getting ready to do a live show for you all. We definitely apologize for all the technical issues that we went through earlier today. I got about 15 to 20 minutes, and I said, you know what? I was in the chat interacting with the fans. Let's do a quick fan interaction show. So this is our opportunity to get a lot of your comments read on screen, kind of get your thoughts out, and we'll take it from there. This is what I want to start with, and I tweeted this out a little bit earlier today. Don't let the Cleveland Browns and their lack of preparation, their lack of being ready for this game, their lack of effort divide us as Cleveland Browns fans. What I'm seeing right now on social media is a lot of people, getting into little beefs with each other about who's more right about what the reason was we lost yesterday's game. Listen, the correct answer is above letter D. Every reason that you stated so far is the reason why the Cleveland Browns lost yesterday. Lost yesterday at home at Huntington Bank Field. Whether you're talking about the offensive line, whether you're talking about the play of Deshaun Watson, whether you're talking about the lack of running game, whether you're talking about the poor game plan Kevin Stefanski put together, whether you're talking about the defensive effort, whether you're talking about my boy MJ Emerson, right? The fact of the matter is everybody that's a member of the Cleveland Browns didn't play pretty good yesterday. When I did the Ultimate 216 show this past week, I alluded to the fact that I thought this was a great opportunity for the Cleveland Browns to make an example out of the New York Giants. Instead, I walked away looking like or thinking like maybe the Cleveland Browns got exposed. Maybe this Cleveland Browns team isn't as good as we thought it was. Or maybe I'm just like overly overreacting to a horrible loss against a New York Giants team. But I think it's time for us to really look at this roster, call a spade when it comes to everything that's involved. Let's talk about the head coach first. Let's work our way down to the play on the field, right? This team was unprepared. You came into this game on paper as the better team. On paper, a lot of people said that you had the better roster. On paper, you were 6.5-point favorites. On paper. And I walked around with this confidence all week that the Cleveland Browns were going to take the next step forward in their offense, that you were playing a team that you were flat out better than, and this was your opportunity to show the world that, whatever the talk is behind the closed doors or behind the scenes about the Cleveland Browns not being as good as people think they are, you could have put that to bed. Instead, you raised more questions than you did answers. Kevin Stefanski didn't have a good game plan coming into this game. Coming into week 3, the New York Giants was giving up 163 yards rushing per game. There was a point in time that the Cleveland Browns had only attempted 5 rushes throughout the game, right? And I get it. The offensive line was not that good, but it's like, damn, at least try to run the football. At least make an effort to keep everything on track and keep some balance to this offense. That didn't happen. Deshaun Watson at one point during the game in the first half was faced, I think he had faced like something like 12 pressures or something like that, right? He had already came into this football game as the most pressured quarterback in the NFL. And like they always say, man, when it rains and pours. He ended up being sacked 8 times. I think he took 17 quarterback hits. Don't really know the pressure numbers right now, but it was a rough day for him. And because of that, in my opinion, when he did have a little bit of time to throw it, he was a little gun shy. He was happy feet. He was trigger happy. Probably mentally, he was scatterbrained. And if you're facing that much pressure constantly, you're not going to play well. And one of the questions that you're going to hear on today's show is, can you fairly evaluate Deshaun Watson, seeing how poor the offensive line is played? My answer is no, but I'll leave that up for you all to debate. I'm low-key tired of the Jerome Ford experiment as well. I think Jerome Ford continues to show, man, that he's nothing more than a rotational back. he's not a guy that we can really lean on and count on as a sole individual like we do Nick Chubb. I would like to see more of Deontay Foreman. Didn't really see that. I do want to give a hot hats off and the kudos to Amari Cooper. I thought Amari Cooper had a great bounce back game. Wait for him to go out there and get 2 touchdowns. Outside of that, man, I thought a lot of what we saw yesterday was mid to god awful. Like, my boy MJ Emerson, did not have a great game against Malik Neighbors. And I want to give Malik Neighbors a quick shout out because I think in the city of Cleveland, we've had a lot of conversations about game-changing wide receivers, game-breaking wide receivers. And we assume that we have that, where some of us, should I say, assume that we have that with Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. But the reality is, man, we ain't had that type of wide receiver that's on that type of time since we had Josh Gordon here in Cleveland. One of those type of wide receivers that no matter who's the quarterback, no matter who's under center, no matter how bad everything else is going around them, those special type of players is going to find a way to show up and show out and ball every single chance that they get. And the Cleveland Browns have lacked that for the betterment of 11 years now. It's been 10, 11 years for real, since Josh Gordon was a mainstay or had that huge season that he had here. So, when I look at it, Cleveland Browns got a lot of work to do. Clearly we got a lot of issues. I believe there's 4 or 5 guys that's going to go for MRIs today, and we'll see how that turned out. But, it's a strong possibility that we can be adding on to that injury list. I know a lot of people yesterday during our post-game show, and shout out to you all who all showed up. A lot of people yesterday during our post-game show said, they felt like Denzel Ward should have traveled with Neighbors, and rightfully so. But I will say this. A corner and short scheme has not traveled in the last 6 years. But as a coach, this is where you need to make adjustments. As a coach, this is where it's on you to realize what's going on with said unit at said time and make the proper adjustments. Just because this is the way that you always go about your business, just because this is your status quo, doesn't mean that you have to keep it that way, especially when your defense is getting cooked. Like, I told Mike McNuggets and I told Ant this morning, for me, it was the best game that I ever seen Danny Downs play. Daniel Jones went out there and cooked the Cleveland Browns and that high-powered defense that we assume that we have at home in front of our fans. This is a team that was 8-1 last year at the crib. Right now, you 0-2 in front of your hometown fans. And a lot of people are pissed about it, and rightfully so. So, we got about 15 minutes until the regular crew jump back in, man. Don't forget, like, subscribe, tell a friend, man. Drop that hashtag U216. Let me know where you all are watching from, man. I would love to know that stuff. Don't forget, man, to check the flagship show every week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The rest of the spinoff shows, the Ultimate Brown Show, the Ultimate Guardian Show. Shout out to the Cleveland Guardians headed to the postseason. There is nothing in the world like October baseball when your team is a part of it. Shout out to the Ultimate Buckeyes Show, etc. So I want to get some of these comments read, kind of get some of your thoughts. I'm gonna try to go through these by myself and see what's going on. But I had to jump in to give y'all some type of content on this Monday until we get everything going. So here we are. Todd says, is there any hope for this season? O-line looks so bad and beat up. Listen, Todd, I'm gonna be honest with you. This season is a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? And some of these issues, I feel like the Cleveland Browns will get an opportunity to correct in season. But a lot of these issues from the naked eye through 3 weeks look like these are issues that we're going to be dealing with throughout the season. I think the offensive line has been a major talking point since this team broke for the Greenbrier for training camp. From literally day one until now, all you've heard is reports about how bad the offensive line is. It's looking like right now today that Bill Callahan was probably the biggest loss this offseason for the Cleveland Browns. And you're seeing the results of that. This line is pretty much the same players from last year, 2 years ago, and they look progressively worse than what they did last year. It looks like the interior of our line is not as strong as we once thought it was. We spent a lot of time on this show talking about the tackle position, talking about getting those tackles back. But let's keep it real. that interior of that offensive line has not played great through 3 weeks. Every time you look up, Ethan Poaches is getting another pre-snap penalty. And if I'm keeping it real, every time you look up, 75 and 77 seem to be getting beat left and right. Like Dexter Lawrence had a field day with the Cleveland Browns offensive line yesterday. So, I think there's still hope for the season. I'm starting to feel like it's more slim as we go. I just want to see this team play good on a consistent basis. And right now, they're not showing us that. Shout out to my man, Creative Juice, who says a lot of teams right now are 1-2, a lot of mid teams 3-0. The cream rises to the top, as Macho Man says. So time will tell what this team is made of. I agree with you, Creative Juice. Like, again, this thing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And eventually we're going to really find out exactly what this team is made of. Let's see what else we got here. It says this whole team is not being held accountable. It's the same excuses every loss. And you said I got 2 minutes? 2 minutes. All right, cool. I got 2 minutes to get through these. Do you think, let me see, Mason says, do you think that the up and down season Baker had could actually been Stefanski having an up and down season? Yeah, it could have been. I mean, let's keep it real. This team has not had back-to-back good seasons under Kevin Stefanski's leadership, for real. It seems like we have a damn good year, and then we have expectations, and then we come back down to earth, and we can't pretty much get our head out of our asses. Scott says, dancing and celebrating over a pass breakup when the team is down 21-7 in the fourth quarter is ridiculous. Yo, Scott, I usually don't really say too much about these dudes going out there having fun because I get that they work so hard throughout the week. But, Scott, I could not agree with you any more than 150 million%. Listen, you getting your ass kicked up and down the field in every phase of football, and you got the nerve to be out here dancing and jumping around because you made one play. Like, come on, man, be better than that. This fan base deserves better than that. That was absolutely ridiculous. Let's see here what else we got. Sean says, salute, a disappointed effort, of course, from the Browns. They're going to need to rearrange that O-line, in my opinion. Going to need some receivers to bring in, knows how to catch the ball, etc. I think a lot is going to come under evaluation, man, as we continue to go through this season. And, this is the day after an awful loss to a team that, quite honestly, you should have beat. And so the reactions is going to be all over the place. But the one thing I need everybody that's watching this live stream right now to understand and to realize is, like, we didn't do it. It's not our fault. And we all got an opinion about why this thing went so left so early. But I'll say this, like, share those opinions, share those thoughts, but let's not be fighting and bickering amongst each other. Because, see, the Browns do this all the time. They get us hyped up with these expectations. They go out there, they crap the bed, and then we spend a whole week arguing amongst each other about what the real reason is why we lost. No, for this particular week, it's the letter D above all, because every facet of this football team was bad on Sunday, and you made Danny Dimes Jones look like a damn all-pro quarterback. Just absolutely ridiculous across the board. And it's giving me the cue. I got to get up out of here, man. Don't forget, we're about to go live at 12 o'clock with Jason Lloyd, Adam DeBoer, and G. Bush, Mikey McNuggets, of course, in the producer's chair, man. Again, thanks for tuning in to this pop-up quick Ultimate 216 show. Tell a friend about this show, man. I'm trying to get the viewers up, and follow me on Twitter at Earl of Pearl 216, man. If you got any show ideas, any comments, if you go over to my Twitter page, you'll see my email address. Feel free to holler at me, man. As y'all know, I'm always in the chat. I'm always interacting with the people. Like, I got love for y'all. Till the next time, man, be great. Spread love. Remember, being great come with a price. Spreading love. That thing is priceless. I'm out of here.